table. No, I'm speaking about the side of the table that is empty and that women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first, and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. For timely update on politics, entertainment, sport, and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out.
It's the holy month of Ramadan, the month of purity, the month of blessings, the month of love for humanity. Join us on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja on the program The Message, a time for us to listen and share Ramadan messages to our loved ones live on air. Hosts Aliu Ahmed Adoke, AAA, every Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. The Message, be part of it.
.7 Citizen FM.
Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station.
We're more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's Citizen FM 93.7 and you're on to Insights at the last edition for the week. My name is Lawrence Omoite. The global problem of illicit drugs is forcing countries, including Nigeria, to adopt a multi-dimensional approach to tackle this menace. Countries now address problems through the lens of public health and even broader social approach, rather than only through the conventional criminal matter approach. Also, 14.3 million people abuse drugs, while 1 in 5 persons, approximately 3 million Nigerians, suffer from drug use disorder, with no less than 155,000 among them in dire need of medical treatment. Similarly, the World Drugs Report of 2021 predicted a likely 11% increase in the number of people who abuse illicit substances across the world. About 40% of that increase is projected to come from Nigeria. Meaning Nigeria, which is the most populous country in the continent, must be very concerned. And so on Insight today, we will, for now, take a pause from politics and look at the growing menace of drug abuse and stemming this tide. I have a very interesting guest on the program today, a very young man. His name is Kenneth Anetor. He's the UNODC trainer, a drug counselor, a drug abuse prevention campaigner also. Welcome to Insight, Kenneth.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you too, Kenneth. Kenneth Anetor has a bachelor's degree in journalism and mass communications from the Sikim's Manipal University. He is a certified trainer of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. He also has a certificate for treatment of opioid use disorder from Harvard Medical School. Wow. Just this year in April, Kenneth Anetor was appointed the ambassador of the House of Representatives Committee on Narcotics and Drugs. What an impressive CV there, Kenneth. Once again, thank you for honoring us with your presence on your site.
The pleasure is mine, sir.
Okay, so you can follow us on our social media platforms, 3 of them on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. At 10:30, we will open the phone lines. And what are we talking about today? Stemming the tide of drug abuse, especially amongst the youth in Nigeria. And my guest once again is Kenneth Anetor, who is a drug counselor and also a drug abuse prevention campaigner. Kenneth Anetor. Straight up, Kenneth. Let's look at the issues. First, I saw one interview you granted some weeks ago, and you said public health challenge is not drug abuse is a public health challenge and not a criminal offense. What exactly does that mean?
When we talk about it not being a criminal challenge, when we look at criminals, we look at morals, we look at things that can push people to commit crimes. And what you're saying that drug abuse or drug use disorder is a chronic relapsing brain disease, which is characterized by a person going and using a particular drug of choice, regardless of how it affects his health, him personally, affects his family, or affects the society at large. And there are a lot of factors that can push somebody into using these drugs. So those are risk factors. These risk factors can be medical factors. The person might come from a family, might have a medical challenge from having pains from sickle cell anemia. The person can go into these particular drugs to ease the pain and become addicted. The person can come from a family where other members are using drugs, and because of the family's drug usage, the person might begin to experiment with these drugs. The person can also be in an environment where everybody uses a particular type of drug and it becomes a norm, and the person is using the drug. So it's not an issue of morals in drug use. There are different things that can influence, different risk factors that can influence a person's drug usage. There are some families that you hear that the grandfather used alcohol, the father used alcohol, the son is now using alcohol. It's a pattern. It's a hereditary pattern that's been established. There's something in the neurology of addiction. It was a course that I took in Harvard. It was part of the course. It says that if someone uses a particular drug, it can cause damage to a part of the person's brain, and that damage that happens in that part of the brain can be passed down from this generation to generation. And when that part of the brain gets used to the effect of that particular drug, the next generation can be more susceptible to that particular drug. When two people drink alcohol in a family where they have a history of drinking, the other person, the person in that family, will have a different effect. Alcohol will have a different effect than on the other person when nobody has drank in that family. You find that the thing is more comforting, it's more soothing. And this is why it's a chronic relapsing brain disorder also. It can be treated completely and it can come back later. it can relapse. Other relapsing diseases are like cancer. Cancer can be completely treated, but it can relapse later. Chronic relapsing disease. So it makes us now look at these drugs with an open mind that maybe it's not a question of the person is a bad person, that's why he smokes. So it's not a criminal issue, it's a public health challenge. So we should not treat it like anybody that does drugs goes to jail, and we should take it as a health challenge.
Oh, okay. Kenneth, now before we go into the other issues, let's talk about your experience in drug abuse. I understand that it was so devastating before you finally won the battle. Help us understand how a young, vibrant-looking guy like you could end up with drug addiction.
Well, growing up, I would say maybe I grew up from a very good family, and I was opportune to attend some of the best schools. When I look at it now from the lens of someone that is of a professional now, I would say there was a time in my secondary school I was a prefect from my JS1 to SS1, but there was a time that the prefect status was stripped from me. I just come back from the UK holiday, being happy, and we had moved from junior secondary to senior secondary, and they were announcing the prefects again, and I wasn't part of them, and I was surprised. It was a big shock to me, and I felt like all my life I'd always wanted to be the good guy. I'd always worked hard to be the good guy, to be the prefect, to be perfect and everything, and this is the reward that I'm getting at this stage. So I made up my mind, I will be the bad guy now. I'll be the bad guy. Since my whole life I wanted to be the good guy. Everywhere I go, I wanted people to say, that is a good boy, that's a good boy. And this was the reward I got. I was stripped of my...
Just that singular incident.
So I think that would have been the major influence. And maybe watching, I'd already been looking at a lot of people in my neighborhood, but I think that was the factor that pushed me. And I said, okay, I'll be the bad guy. I'll be so much of the bad guy that anytime somebody walked into a room, they'll look at that boy and say, that is the bad boy.
You'll be such a bad boy that you excel, in that field.
Yes, that pushed me.
So how challenging was it for you to finally become clean again?
To become clean, I would just say that it was just God that helped me. Because it was such a journey. It was such a journey. I had always been talented. Growing up, I had had opportunities. From primary school, I'd represented my school on national television, doing competitions. In secondary school, I'd always represented my school in competitions, in arts competition, talent competitions. And even when I had the challenges with drug usage, my school still recognized that talent, and they will still push those. Anytime those opportunities came, they will always push me forward. You have to do this, you have to prepare the team, you have to take the team out. And my family had seen that there was that grace, so they were just working with it. I had won competitions from Globalcom, I had won competitions from Multina. There was a time that Disney Channel came to Nigeria to do a competition here, and I was opportune to be one of the people that was picked. But because of those issues, those drug issues, my mom would tell me that I can't do this. Sometimes she would say, okay, that I should not go for the competition again. It was a wonderful journey. But the most important point was that I came to a point of self-realization. And where I came to self-realization is that I was separated from my environment. I had a change of environment. I had grown up in the city, grown up in Abuja in particular, and I'd had a lot of issues. And there was a major accident that me and my friends had. After that accident, my parents were like, we can't stay with this, we can't cope with this again. And they sent me to Benin, to Edo State, to stay with one of my aunties, and that was a turning point. While I was there, my auntie never told me, don't do drugs, don't be a bad boy. All she told me is that in her house, you go to church on Wednesday, go to church on Friday, and on Sunday, don't be late for church. While I was there, I noticed that those people that I held in high esteem, that would always call me around, that would always do these things, none of them was calling me. It's like life just went on. And I had this time to have a sober reflection. And I was going to church. I was building up myself in that moment. I began to look at my life holistically. And it brought me to a point of self-realization. There was a day that I had like a dream. And in the dream, it was like God was talking to me that he wanted to make me rich. He wanted to bless me. But the drugs would not allow him to do that. And I just thought about it. I was like, if God that is meant to be able to bless me without compulsion or without anything feels that his blessings on my life could be detrimental to me, that means that I have to take out these drugs so that I can move forward. And with that little encounter like that, I started breaking down. I didn't like stop completely like cold turkey. I just said, okay, I would stop this. I stopped one, I said I'll stop this, and I started reducing until even this point I don't even drink alcohol, sir.
Okay, Kenneth, your story is very interesting one and also sad. Because for a young man, during this period, how did your parents take it? What was the first? How did they find out the first time that truly that you were hooked on substance?
I think the first time would have been, I think there was a day that I had gotten expelled from school. So I got expelled from about two or three schools. Got expelled from my first high school. Then I finished in my second high school. I went to 3 high schools. Then I got expelled from my first university. My second university, I flunked out. My third university, I just woke up and left the university. So my parents were under duress. I thank God for them.
And they had to throw you out.
They had to throw me out. They had to push me out. I just thank God for them because they were patient.
All right, if you're just joining us, it's still Insight on Citizen FM 93.7, and we are looking at drug addiction. We are looking at stemming this addiction, especially among the youths in the country. And my guest is Kenneth Anetor, who is a drug counselor, a drug abuse prevention campaigner, and he's been telling us his experience, and we will also talk about some other issues about that. So that's how it's going to be. By 10:30 we will open the phone lines, but for now, Kenneth, before I go on, I'm wondering, if I have a son like you, how can I tell that he's hooked on substance? What are the giveaway signs?
Okay, giveaway signs. Okay. First of all, the person will know that they are doing something that is wrong. So most times the person that used to be so close to you come back in the evening and come and cling to you, hold your body or stay around you. The person will start to be distant from you. If the person's door was always opened, the person's door will now be closed. When the person comes back in the evening, the person does not want to come to you so you can smell the person, or you can observe his face, or you can see his mannerism, his disorientated mannerism. The person will start feeling guilty, and in that guilt, the person will start avoiding you. Anytime you're coming, the person is turning, they will usually always turn their face down so you don't make direct eye contact with them. They will always have that guilt because they know that they're doing something that's not wrong. The person will always, probably, if you see someone with drug-related paraphernalia, lighters, pipes, the drug itself, Rizla, any related drug-related material, you already know the person is using drugs or the person is planning to start. If you see the person with the drug in particular, the person is probably using drugs or planning to start. If the person that has always liked to not wear shades, the person always wants to wear shades now, or every time shades, in the night is wearing black shades, in the afternoon inside the house is wearing black shades, the person has already started or is planning to start, or there might be a challenge. But when 3 or 4 of these things that I'm mentioning right now start to align, you can already have an idea that the person is probably doing or planning to start. Also, the person might want to wear hoodies, caps to cover their face, to cover their eyes, just to cover themselves. You can pick, and if the person is hanging around people that are using drugs, staying very close to the person. It does not mean the person might probably be planning to start, or the person could probably start. So if this was to be put in a questionnaire, if you tick out of these 10 things I've said, if you tick 8, the person is probably about to start, or the person has started, or half. So you can use it, but don't just tick 1 and generalize, or tick 2 and generalize, or even tick 3 and generalize. But when these whole things are captured in what you're seeing in your child, then that's where you need to call us.
So what is the cost of this addiction? And I'm not just talking about financial now.
Okay.
Apart from the finances, what is the cost of addiction?
Well, addiction can cost you your future. I have stories. I have seen friends, I've seen families, I've seen mothers that have called me in the middle of the night to come to the hospital to escort them to go and meet their child. I've escorted mothers to go and bury their children.
Yeah, I know, I appreciate the emotions that are flowing, but part of our contribution to the society is to bring this to the fore, so that a lot of parents listening to you, a lot of young Nigerians listening to you will begin to take a second look if they are already involved in stuff like this, because I know that it's a very serious problem that even our governments at different levels might not be able to appreciate the level of the addiction in the country. Well, we will take a short break, and when we return, Insight will continue. My guest has been Kenneth Anetor, and is a drug counselor and a drug abuse prevention campaigner. Insight will return in a moment. Please don't go away.
Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, bringing you news updates on digital technology around us, discussing the latest development and how technology can enrich you and make your life more exciting. Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, welcome to our world of technology. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12. Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, expanding our global reach through technology.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women, and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty, and the women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first, and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. For timely update on politics, entertainment, sport and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out.
93.7 Citizen FM.
Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station.
We're more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
All right, thank you for staying tuned. There's still Insights on Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Moite, and we've been talking about stemming the tide of drug abuse in Nigeria. My guest is Ken Anetor, who is a drug trainer, a drug counselor, drug abuse prevention campaigner, and apart from taking a look at the issues, he's also been giving us his own live experience on drugs before he became clean. You can follow us on social media on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter Citizen FM 937. And the phone lines are open 0903 2229 797 or 0818 222205 or 0818 222206. Any of these numbers, call us and let's talk. And you can also send us a WhatsApp message. Let's just know where you are writing from, and so that we will be able to react to your message. The numbers again, 0903 2229 797. You can also call us on 0818 222205 or 0818 222206. My guest, once again, Kenneth Anetor, who is a drug counselor and also a drug abuse prevention campaigner. Kenneth, before we went on the break, you were telling us about the cost of addiction. And somewhere you went a little bit emotional, but I would want you to continue. Let's know how it is. Let's have a feel. Help us understand these things.
Okay. When we talk about the cost, let's divide them into three categories. Let's talk about the social cost. Anybody that is involved with drugs will experience some social consequences.
Like?
So some of these consequences include, there might be family disintegration. When a child is doing drugs, it can lead to the family breaking up. The mother can say, "This is your son." They tell the father, "Take your son," or "Take your daughter." The father can say, take your son, take your daughter. And the parents can have challenges raising that child, and it might end up breaking up the family. When someone is involved in drugs, the person would most likely usually have challenges with the police and law enforcement agencies. So the person becomes a candidate for police. If they don't have any money, if they know the person very well, they know if they go to his house or if they track the person, they'll find drugs on the person, and the person will now become their regular customer. Also, it can disrupt the person's education. I'm still talking about social consequences. This disrupt the person's education. It can make the family to become a stench in the community. Anytime they bring up the family name, they say all of them are using drugs. Say, it's not the father that caused it, it's not the mother that caused it. The family now becomes a byword in the mouth of everyone in the community. Also, it can have health consequences. There are so many health consequences. Cancer, death, organ failure can cause so many negative health consequences. The lungs, even some of the reproductive organs, different health consequences that can happen. Also, there are some other psychological consequences. It can cause restlessness, sleeplessness, full-blown psychosis, madness. There are people that went mad because of drug usage. I would always tell people that everybody's brain is not the same. Everybody's brain does not have the same capacity. An example is that when people were in school, they would all sit down in the same class. They'll be taught by the same teacher. Most of them will read. The same lecturer give them the notes. They will all read. But at the end of the day, some people will fail, some people will pass. So different people's, their brains are different. So why would you take a particular drug and expect it to have the same effect on somebody and have the same effect on the other person? There are some people that their brain will not be able to handle it, and they can find themselves losing what will I say, just losing control of their bodies for a while, because the person that is mad does not know he has lost control. He's just not the one holding the steering again, or he's just living his life normally, so they could lose control for a while. And so there's so many consequences, social, health-wise, and psychologically.
Okay, so what are these drugs that we are talking about? How common are they? How cheap are they, or how expensive are they in Nigeria? Let's be practical here.
Well, it would have been before I could give a more real representation of the cost, but if you look at the statistics, the most commonly used drugs in Nigeria is cannabis, is weed. That is the one we call Igbo. In the different varieties, the marijuana, either as Colorado or other, those are some of the most commonly used drugs. Then in terms of different demographics, in the north, the alcohol usage is lesser due to their religion, and in the south, alcohol usage is more. Then we can have the Raffinol. In Abuja, there's use of Raffinol, use of codeine, use of tramadol. That's more common. But along the whole there's a West African coast, tramadol trafficking is very, very high. Very, 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 very high. In Nigeria, some of the states with the highest prevalence of drug usage include Gombe. Gombe has one of the highest prevalence of drug usage. Lagos, one of the highest drug usage prevalence. Yes.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to some other issues because of time. But the lines are still open. I can see numbers flashing in. If you want to call, let's talk. 0903 2229797. That's 0903 2229797 or 0818 2222205. You can also call us on 0818-222206. My guest is Kenneth Anetor, who is a drug counselor and also a drug abuse prevention campaigner. And we are talking about stemming the tide of drug abuse amongst youth, especially in Nigeria. Kenneth, I also know that you have taken this drug awareness campaign to schools and environs. How easy has that been? How is the message? What's the reception like?
The truth of the matter is that I'm very grateful for all the opportunity that I've gotten and the support, first from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, in building up my capacity to a level that we can make relevant impact in terms of efficacy, in terms of effectiveness. We have different programs that our organization, the Anetor International Foundation, actually runs. One of the programs is called Drug Abuse in a School Environment. The aim of the program is to equip secondary schools in Nigeria with knowledge and materials to curtail the consumption of illicit substances in the school. So in the program, what we do is that we bring teachers, we approach secondary schools, we talk to the proprietors, and we come to the school, we do a first evaluation, we do a program. During the program, we share questionnaires and evaluate the drug usage in the school. After that, we now discuss with the proprietor, let them know how the challenges in the school and proposed a program. We trained the teachers, we equipped them with materials, with posters, we developed their capacity to intervene in drug-relevant issues in the school. And the school that we launched the program in, one of the first schools, that was Fontage International School. The school later went on, we had the program for a year. The school later went on to win the National Substance Abuse Program Quiz Award, and they were awarded the award by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, at the State House. So the proprietors have been accepting. Most proprietors also care about the well-being of the children in the school, because the reputation of the school too is at hand when they hear that school students are doing drugs. So they've been accommodating, and most proprietors will work with the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, especially the Abuja chapter, to see how we could take this program to different schools. And we had a group training for them about 2 years back. We brought different schools together. A lot of schools showed interest, so we brought about three teachers from each school. We trained them, we gave them materials, we gave them a curriculum to go back to their individual schools to begin to implement this program, so that instead of us being there at every school, we now turned the teachers into trainers, impacted them, gave them the knowledge and the materials to curtail the consumption of the drugs in the school. So that proved better. We have an updated curriculum from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime right now, the drug education. It's a different curriculum that we're looking and working to implement it in the coming months in more secondary schools.
Okay, Kenneth, I know that one of the challenges that we have as a nation, as a people, in this whole drug equation is the rehabilitation of addicts, and maybe societal stigma sentiments are attached to this. What have you found out in this area?
Well, let's just break the facts down. It's not about my personal finding out. The facts show that in Nigeria, for every 7 people, that one person is using drugs or has used drugs in the last 1 year.
Wow, that's serious.
So for in almost every family or in every extended family, there'll be 1 or 2 people that are using drugs in every household. So now for every 4 people using drugs, one of that person is a woman, and the statistics show that women, especially women who inject drugs, tend to go faster from casual drug usage to problematic drug usage, because when women use drugs, they use drugs with multiple partners. And that will show, like, maybe if they were in a sitting and women were using, and men and women were using drugs, when the drugs in that sitting finishes, the men's drug usage would most likely have finished, but the woman is more likely to be invited to another place and her drug usage continues. So she moves faster from casual drug usage to problematic drug usage when she uses drugs with multiple partners. But in terms of treatment in Nigeria, there are about 70-something treatment centers, and among those treatment centers, cost of treatment goes between 300,000 to about 3 million naira a month. 300,000 to 3 million naira a month for one person. That's in the rehabilitation room. There are probably 4 people in that room being rehabilitated. The NDLA is doing a wonderful job under the leadership of Brigadier General Abuba Marwa, retired. They have some of their own government-owned treatment centers. They have some teaching hospitals that have treatment centers. Then they have the other private. So that ranges between 300 to 3 million naira a month. But in terms of the result from the treatment, there was a study that was discussed during our last UNODC training, and it was a NOENDO study. They showed the statistics from different treatment centers. In terms of treatment, for every 20 people that are treated in Nigeria, 19 are male, only 1 is a woman. So women go faster from casual to problematic drug usage, but in terms of treatment, women receive less treatment, and this is because of stigma. Women face double stigma. Women face stigma from the drug users, their fellow drug users. They stigmatize them. You're a woman, why are you using drugs? This, that. Also, women face stigma from the healthcare providers. When they go to access these rehabilitation services and all these things, they stigmatize them. You're a woman, you should be with your children. This. They face stigma, a lot of stigma. In fact, For a while now, I've taken the mentorship of one of my senior aunties in this activism in the social sector. Her name is Mommy Anetor, and she's a well-known name in gender because I noticed the large amount of challenges that women face, especially in drug usage. If I was to have given lectures on women and drug usage challenges, women face a lot. And if we don't begin to really work on this, because women are so dynamic in a way that if a woman is using drugs and she has a family, she will do all her responsibilities. Wake up in the morning, bath the children, do everything, take them to school, come back, use her drugs, prepare their food, they come back, they eat this day in the evening. She's using her drugs again. And the children are seeing that she's meeting all her responsibilities and she's still using the drug. So anybody that comes to tell them that if you use drugs, you'll be stupid, they're like, what are you telling us? Mommy does that, and she's meeting all her responsibilities. She's the one that is bathing us, one that is taking care of us, feeding us, this, that. And that's the thing about women. They meet their responsibilities. But in terms of the challenges, women in terms of their body, let's look at alcohol, for example. Women have less liquid in their body compared to men. So if a woman and a man were to sit down and say we're having a drinking competition, the woman has already cheated herself, because the man would take more alcohol and his liquid in his body will dilute it, but the woman has less liquid in her body. So the more she takes, the more intoxicated she gets. In terms of in drug cartels, women are used as drug mules around this world to ship drugs. They're given the lowest level position in drug cartels. Statistics show that women are more likely to go to jail for a man's drug usage, for a man's drug crime. Statistics show that women are less likely to be accommodated in a relationship, in a marriage, when they find out that they're using drugs
than
the man.
Okay.
The man will be accommodated, but the woman will probably be pushed out. So women, we have to do something, especially for our mothers, especially for our sisters, for our daughters that are using drugs. It's something that the whole community, the whole nation has to come to rally around.
Oh, okay. Kenneth, let me take you back to your story.
Yes, sir.
When your parents eventually found out that you were using drugs, they practically threw you out. Your story could have been different if not for your auntie who picked you up. Your story could have gone from bad to worse. Yes. Is this the best families could do?
When I say they threw me out, I would say that they said that I shouldn't stay in the city. I shouldn't stay in Abuja. They said I should stay in Edo State with my auntie. They wanted me to have a change of environment. I believe that anybody that is too used to a place, the person needs a change of environment. Sometimes we can get too comfortable in a familiar place, and sometimes when we change environment, the noise around can be silenced, and we can have that opportunity to think, to come to a point of self-realization, because everybody is created for a purpose. If you're in a place that is too comfortable, you might never have that self-awakening. I hear these words I'm using: self-realization, self-awakening, discovering your purpose, because our purpose is important to our fulfillment. So those are the things that I discovered when I was able to leave my comfort zone, because this was all I ever knew. I had gone to plenty schools, traveled to plenty places, but this was the comfort zone. When I'm here, it's like a king in his palace. When I was now moved out there, senses that I never knew I had to start exploring those senses. And that was what led me to a point of self-realization. I believe that anybody that is actually in these drugs needs to be moved out of that comfort zone. The person needs to be moved out of that comfort zone. The person and family should not just summarize that Kenneth said this on the radio, and we should just, that person that is using drugs, get him now, ship him out.
To another
Please
city.
get the services of a prevention professional or someone in the drug demand reduction profession to evaluate the person's drug usage. We have a list of questions that on the questionnaire that can be used to determine the person's drug usage. The questions include: when last did you use the drug? How many times a week do you use the drug? It can develop into: does your drug usage make you have issues at work? does your drug usage make you have issues with family? It can also go into, has your drug usage made you to be arrested in the past so time? Have you gone out of your way to get monies to use this drug? When you don't see this drug, are you violent? It's about 13 questions. So depending on where the person scales on those particular questions, it can determine that whether the person needs rehabilitation, whether the person needs counseling.
Okay, Kenneth, just a moment. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Who's on the line, please?
My name is Amaka. I'm calling from Abuja.
Okay, Amaka, please go ahead.
Okay. Kenneth, your story is so touching. Well done, sir. Thank you for the good work you're doing.
Thank God. Thank you.
Now, I have a nephew, though he's not here with me. But for a very long time, I've not seen him. He's at Onitsha. But from the story I got, even from my mom, that when she saw him last time, that the guy was not looking good. And this my nephew, she's around that 27 or so. But like this guy is deep into this drug thing now. That they are complaining, his parents are complaining that he's not looking good. Like everything, like he has not been coming to the village for a very long time now. He's avoiding everybody. So, like, my question is, how do we go about helping him now? Since I'm not even close to him and his parents are not that aware, they are not educated that they will say they have to help him or call for counsel or something like that. So, I don't know what process now.
All right, thank you so much.
How do we go about helping him?
Thank you so much, Amaka. I'm sure Kenneth will have one or two things to say about that. Okay, Kenneth, let's wrap up. We have like 2 minutes, so you can just wrap up.
Okay. Since you can already tell that the issue has progressed far, I believe that you would need the service of a intervention specialist, someone that has a rehabilitation center. And also, I would like you to pray for him as you're praying to get the services of a professional. There are contacts of professionals. The UNODC did a drug help net in which they compiled list of different rehabilitation centers and health service providers across Nigeria. They shared it according to different geopolitical zones. This was compiled during the COVID-19. So if you go online and search for the drug help net, you see a list of different registered prevention and intervention specialists in Nigeria. And you can also call in on, even get my contact. I could advise accordingly. Our organization, Anetor International Foundation, does referral services for families that need treatment, need rehabilitation services, and even counseling services. We do that.
All right, Kenneth, I think we have to leave it at that for now. It's because of time. Thank you so much, Kenneth Anetor, UNODC trainer and drug counselor, and also drug abuse prevention campaigner. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for your there is. Okay, maybe we could just squeeze in this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, still Amaka, please.
Okay.
Can I tell you the contact?
Okay, you know what? You just we'll send it through this year. We'll send you a WhatsApp message on this number that you just called now.
Okay.
Oh, we will. All right. Thank you so much, Amaka. Okay, Kenneth. Maybe one of these days we may have to bring you back on Insight again. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for your intervention.
Thank you so much.
All right. So that's our package on Insight today. Our guest has been Kenneth Anetor, who is a UNODC trainer and drug counselor, and we've been talking about stemming the tide of drug abuse amongst Nigerian youths, and it's been such an interesting time listening to Kenneth, thank you so much. And that's our package on Insights for today. The program returns on Monday. Up next is News on the Hour, and after that, Premium Times of Hour will come up. Please don't go away.
Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, bringing you news updates on digital technology around us, discussing the latest developments on how technology can enrich you and make your life more exciting. Citizens Tech Talk with Mina. Welcome to our world of technology. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12. Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, expanding our global reach through technology.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty, and that women